Oh, yeah. And just like that, we are back in business. How's everybody doing tonight? You guys ready to have a good time? You guys ready to get crazy tonight? My watch page just popped on, and I'm looking totally glitchy and crappy looking. What an awesome way to start the show. Fantastic. Hopefully it clears up soon. Don't mind the glitchiness. It comes and it goes. All right, y'all. Welcome back to another edition of Wacky Wild Wake 'em Up Wednesday. And I am your host, the one and only Jake the Awake. We're going to have a good time tonight. There we go. Got a good show lined up for you guys. The news cycle may be slow, but I believe I have found enough entertaining clips tonight that this will indeed be another good show. So you're going to want to hit the thumbs up button to get us started for extra good luck. It will help motivate me to have the best show possible. So if you want the best show possible right here live tonight on Wake 'em Up Wednesday, start us off right with a thumbs up. Right here, right now. Right now! Hey! Hit the thumbs up, yeah! Right now! Come on! It's everything! Hit the thumbs up button and do it right here now. Oh, right now! There you go. Getting started with a little Van Hagar. I was not expecting to do that. It just happened. That's the way it goes when it's unscripted. Shit just happens. I did not have a script prepared where it said, "Sing Right Now" by Van Hagar. No, it just freaking happened. Magically. All right. And with that said, you guys ready to get started? All right. So, starting us off with the first super. And hello to all my mods. I see all my mods are here. All the regulars here. Hi, everybody. Glad to see you guys again. I see super chats are starting to pile up. So let's go ahead and rail through these super chats, and then we'll jump right into the show. I got some funny clips to show you guys tonight. Some shill busting. It's going to be a mixed bag of shits and giggles tonight. So stick around. Everybody ready? Let's boogie. RY says, hi, Jake. Hi, RY. He says, I would like to see Ralphie use that AI speech technology you showed us last week. I wonder what things Ralphie could tell us. Bones? Question mark. So you want to see Ralphie use the Chris Johnson technology, the technology where you can select the words with your eyes, and the speech generator then will do the speaking without the person using the technology having to move their mouth or even have a voice at all. Is that what technology you're talking about? The updated, upgraded, magical Stephen Hawking technology? Well, it just so happens I have the exact same version of that technology, the speech generating tech that Chris Johnson was using. And right here, right now, live, for the first time ever, we're going to see a dog. In this case, my dog, Ralphie, is going to use the speech generator technology. So this is a historic moment. As far as I know, the first ever dog in the world going to use this awesome new technology right here live. And we're going to make it happen right now. Let me just go ahead and get the text set up real quick. And I have Ralphie right off to the side here. We're going to make this happen. All right. I'm kind of interested to see what Ralph has to say, as I'm sure you guys are as well. All right, Ralph, are you ready? All right. So here we go, everybody. For the first time ever, the speech generator technology being used by none other than my dog, Ralphie here. Are you ready? All right. Good one, Ralph. Good one. I actually wasn't expecting smoke on the water. He caught me off guard with that one. A little out of season with the jingle bells, but it was a pretty good try for your first time using the technology. Good job, Ralph. Everybody's very impressed. You're the first ever dog that ever got to use the speech generator. So congrats, Ralph. There you go. All right, there you guys go. The first ever dog to use the speech generator. What do you guys think? Huh? All right, most people seem to think it was good. All right. But there's one person here who I guess didn't like it. Disgusted. Mentally abusive. Whoa, ouch. You're talking about a beagle that gets to eat chicken and beef and chew on bones and go on 4 walks a day. Yeah, he was used for a minute-long comedy bit where he had to listen to me barking. Yeah, it was so abusive. Some people, I guess, don't get my jokes, you know? Yeah, most people got it, though. All right. All right. That one comes in from RY, getting us started with the first super chat of the night and getting us started with the second super chat of the night. And RY, you know, you probably thought that the speech generator was going to say some human English words. Oh, you're so silly, RY. Obviously, you don't understand how the technology works. So you were probably expecting some human language to come out of the speech generator, but you just don't fully understand this technology. So hopefully you learned something tonight, RY. All right. So RY coming in with the second super chat says, impression of Gatis singing something like, what if God was one of us? Eat raw meat like some of us, no nutrients like much of us. Mentally ill like one of us, just a sissy girl with no car. All right. So check it out. A lot of people might not even know who Gatis is. So they may have heard of Spherage, but maybe they aren't familiar with Gatis. And so since he uses different names and people here might not know who you're talking about, I thought that it would help if I show a quick video clip of this guy. That way I can get into character and people can all be on the same page as far as who I'm talking about. So I pulled up one of my favorite Goatus parody videos just for this occasion.
Around 8 years ago, I made a video called How to Fight Naturally. It was a video where I didn't go into detail about how humans actually fight in nature, what the best ways are to somebody.
Hey guys, hey guys, hey guys, hey guys, hey guys, hey guys, let's get natural.
I will explain all of it to you. And at the end of this video, I will explain to you how I would knock out Eddie Hall, that fucking baby voice, the wanna show strength for, whatever the fuck his name is, the Dutch giant, and all of these fucking losers. That I even have to explain this to people already shows how they actually are. How would they hit me? How would they grab me or do anything to me in any way at all?
So this guy Gatis, he claims he founded the raw meat eating movement, and he claims that he can beat up any UFC fighter, and he made this video saying he could beat up this bodybuilder guy and MMA fighter guy, Eddie Hall, who's like triple his size. And so Gatis has never been in a fight where he's beat up any male in his life. There's no examples of this guy winning a fight, but he made this video talking about how he could beat up this gigantic dude, Eddie Hall.
Just tell me how. And none of them, 0% of these fucking losers could actually tell me how they would do anything to me. Even in their wildest fantasies, they can think of anything, any scenario. They could not give me one scenario of how they would even grab me, attack me, hit me in any way at all. I mean, that's how fucking weak they are. Think about it. If you can't even in your wildest fantasy think of how Eddie Hall could actually even touch me with his finger, then how weak is he? He's basically one of the weakest human beings on earth. And I would be way more afraid of fighting somebody in a wheelchair. That would actually be scary.
All right, so this dude wears a wig. He's actually bald, but he like pretends that he grew his hair back by eating raw meat. So he has some good information about eating raw meat, but he also mixes in a ton of bullshit, and then he tells stories like this. But he's mostly known for trying to kill his ex-girlfriend and his own infant son. So he hired a hitman to try and kill his ex-girlfriend and his own son, and the attempt failed. The hitman was caught, gave him up. So he went on the run internationally, and he's still on the run from authorities. I think he's in like Cambodia or something. So yeah, this guy's still currently wanted for hiring a hitman to kill his ex and his son, but somehow he can upload, and I guess he's in one of those countries where they don't extradite criminals, or he's being helped. I don't know, but he still uploads. Anyway, so now that everybody knows who we're talking about, now I can get back to this impression. What if God was one of us? Just a stranger eating raw meat like some of us. Like a mentally ill slave who is riding on a bus, trying to make his way home, so to speak. And this, of course, is because God is one of us. You are looking at him. Hello, my child. It is me, the one you have been looking for, Jesus. I have been him all along, telling you the truth about eating raw meat. So when you hear that song, What If God Was One of Us? That song was literally talking about me. I am God, and I am one of us. I am not one of these mentally ill slaves who rides on a bus. And that is because riding on buses is for sissy girls. Right, there you go. Just for you, buddy. All right, now everybody was caught up on who I was doing an impression of, because sometimes I'll do an impression of somebody and people are like, who in the fuck is he even talking about? So there you go, RY. Starting us off with 2 super chats tonight. All right, let me get rid of Gottis. He's no longer needed. We got Trout Fishing at Hood Park coming in with a super sticker. Awesome. Fist bumps to Trout Fishing at Hood Park. I appreciate the layup super chats. I appreciate all the super chat love coming in, you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. RY with a 3rd super chat says, Jake, thanks for blessing us with your presence tonight, you bloody shape-shifting Archon moldy rolla. It's going to be another awesome show. It is. It's kind of going to be a mixed bag tonight, different subjects. So I'm going to jump back and forth between the Conor McGregor injury and some new flat earth news and that buffalo that done gored that grandpa. I thought we could take a look at that tonight as well. So I thought we could just jump around tonight, have a like a variety show tonight, so to speak. Big Money Bob coming in with a gifted, or 5 gifted Jake the Awake memberships. If you get one of these memberships, everybody thank Big Money Bob if you get one of these gifted memberships. And I know that the camera is pixelated tonight. Sometimes the quality will improve. It'll come in good for a while, and then it'll come in shitty for a while. That's just kind of the way it goes sometimes. Sometimes it's smudged. Maybe this will help. Maybe if I do this, that'll help. All right. Maybe if I get rid of the Wi-Fi on my phone so that only my computer can suck it up, maybe that'll help. Try a few tricks. do a little troubleshooting on my end. I'll turn off my Wi-Fi and my Bluetooth on my phone. Set my phone farther away from the computer. Maybe that will help so that my computer can suck up all the Wi-Fi goodness. I hope that helps. All right. With that said, let me pull up some videos and then we can stop paying attention to how shitty the the pixelation is right now. All right, the Great Bamboozler says, love you, bro. Thank you. Love you guys, too. And Holden's here. He says, I have a link. Fucks new doing damage control. You have a link fucks new doing damage control. All right, good times. With that said, let's go ahead and take a look at that guy who got gored by that buffalo, because it was like the most popular video from last week. Out of all the things that happened last week, this was like the biggest deal. This was like even more popular than the World Cup. This was like mega viral. Some bison launched a grandpa at Yellowstone Park. Now, there's already talk about this video looking like it might be AI. So I already know what the narrative is going to be in my chat. You guys are going to be like, it's fake. But here's the thing. The AI is going to get better and better. So, you know, we got to take a close look, and maybe there'll be something that gives it away and we can make a determination whether this is real or AI. And away we go. And there's no sound, of course. Whoa! All right, one more time. This time we'll do it in slow motion. I think I had it going fast. This time we'll slow her down. We'll add a little music. Hi, I'm Johnny Knoxville's grandpa. Welcome to Jackass. Whoa! There you go. I think that made it much more entertaining. All right, what do you guys think? Real or AI? And if you're going to say AI, you got to tell me why. What is it, guys? What's the consensus here amongst us awakened individuals here? Real or AI? Huh? When you get done laughing, go ahead and give me your breakdown. Soul Red Analytics says top of tree wouldn't have swing so excessively. Oh, see, I wasn't even looking at that. See, you guys are going to spot stuff that I didn't even notice. All right, Trim Reaper says real. Insane in the Brain says looks real. I don't know. High on the Hog says fake as fuck. Oh, we're kind of split. Uncle Remus says looked real. Hank McQueen says AI. All right, there's quite a few people here saying it's real. All right. All right. You know, I haven't made up my mind. That's why I wanted to show you guys. Like, it looks kind of cartoony, which makes me think AI. But then again, when I was a kid, before Jackass and any of this internet culture existed, when I was young, I went to Yellowstone Park, and there were warning signs to not approach the buffalo because they've been known to gore tourists. So there are some old school videos of tourists being attacked long before AI was talked about, right? So just want to put that out there. One more time, we'll take a look. Now, I would argue that the footage here being captured seems pretty good. Like they have the whole thing centered. They capture all the moments. Whereas a lot of times when somebody's filming something that's exciting, whoa, they'll move the camera and the camera work will get a little herky jerky. So whoever this was like really concerned about getting a nice steady shot. So that kind of also lends me to think more that it could be fake. But it could be real, I guess, you know. There are bisons that I'm sure get pissed off when humans get too close. And everyone does carry a phone. So I guess theoretically this could be some real footage that's being taken as it happens. Yeah, see. Little bit cartoony there. That last, the flip. Let me put it as slow as it'll go. How slow can you go? All right. And it just shoots him up in the air. It doesn't like jam like a horn like into his back, right? And like, you know, like give him a flesh wound or whatever. Instead, it like shoots him up in the air and we get this almost comical stuntman-esque cartoony looking moment where Grandpa's upside down. So this is what has me thinking perhaps we're being given a fake gore attack video. But, you know, I guess this also could have actually happened. What do you guys think? I see kind of a split here. Like half you guys are saying it's real, the other half are saying that it's fake as funk. David Hayes says, best show on YouTube, hands down. All right, well, there you go. That was like the top video from last week, right? So, all right. So there you go. Old man being flung up in the air. You know, I'm kind of undecided still. AI, real. The thing is like, it's not really going to impact my life one way or the other. So I guess it doesn't really matter. But it's kind of fun to look at for a minute. So there you go. So we looked at it for a minute. All right. Yeah. See, we're split here. There's some people that said it's real, you know, more people than I thought were saying it's real. So, see, Glenn Carlson says real-ish. It's real. Ish. See, True Metal Jake says it's real. All right. All right. I guess we'll move on. Why argue over a grandpa getting gored by a buffalo, right? There's nothing for us to gain by arguing amongst each other, but it was worth a look. All right. So with that said, let's move on to Conor McGregor's scripted and Conor McGregor's scripted injury, which I recently uploaded a video about. So hopefully you guys watch my latest video. I got a little bit of a push by the algorithm, and some new people saw the video. New subscribers showed up and watched the video. So, they saw the video and decided to subscribe. So that was cool. So I guess I'll have to do some more UFC breakdowns, but I thought I would show some extra evidence as to why I believe Conor McGregor's injury was totally scripted. I don't believe that he had a pre-existing injury. That's a narrative that's being spun right now. So I wanted to show you guys a few things that I found that I wasn't able to include in my video that I noticed afterwards. So I found some backstage footage of Conor McGregor walking around, and he wasn't on crutches. He wasn't being helped, wasn't in a wheelchair. So the fact that they had him walking around on his own in the back didn't make much sense. So I'll show you guys that. All right, so I found this clip where he was backstage after the fight right here.
And very unfortunate, you noticed it immediately somehow. You tell the referee.
What can I say, Adam?
So it's not a long clip, but he's holding his nose like he cares more about his nose than his knee. And like, why aren't they at least helping him? So his selling of the supposed injury is total shit. Some of the worst selling of a scripted injury I've ever seen.
Don't want to blow smoke up my own, but what a performance.
ESPN released footage of Conor backstage after the...
Not on crutches, not in a wheelchair, not even being helped along. They should at least have like some of the trainers and his corner men like helping him along, right? He should be playing it up and limping. Instead, he's holding his nose, walking just fine. Doesn't even really seem to be limping or anything.
Injury.
And very unfortunate, you noticed it immediately somehow. You tell the
Huh. And so I've also floated the theory that perhaps they're using a imposter Conor McGregor, or that multiple Conor McGregors have been used because he's an individual that commands so much money from the sports gamblers. A lot of people like to bet on him. And so from what I heard, they cleaned house on all these people betting on him. So he's walking, holding his nose, right? Didn't even really sell the leg injury hardly at all. So there was nothing about this supposed injury that looked real to me. And so a lot of guys are parroting this narrative that Conor had a pre-existing injury and he threw the head kicks right out of the gate so he'd have an excuse so that he could take a dive and purposely lose. No. He didn't make any of his own decisions. He was told to go out there and lose on purpose, and it seemed like they botched the head kick, so then they tried it again and botched it twice, and then the ref didn't quite step in and stop it fast enough. So it seemed like they botched the ending of the fight, and Conor McGregor didn't sell the injury at all. Like he didn't pretend to be hurt as good as he could have. I mean, if he really wanted to, he could have sold it so much better and been like, oh, fuck me leg, and just not stood back up, right? He could have just like went for one head kick, grabbed at his leg and been like, oh my God, ow, hurt so bad. And then just not been able to stand up anymore. But instead he stood up, goes for the second head kick. So there was nothing about this fight that made any sense. And then, of course, the doctor, to me, the doctor is what seals the deal for the whole thing being scripted. So Dr. Brian Sutter, I would argue that if he does a breakdown of the injury on the same night, then that's pretty much seals the deal.
Right.
So if this doctor right here, Brian Sutter, MD, if he does a breakdown the same night that the injury happens, within an hour of the injury happening, that means the injury is scripted. So here he is doing the breakdown of the injury. And this was in like minutes of the injury happening. You got the doctor with his suit and tie ready to go. So somehow the doctor was like, watching live, saw the injury, knew in his head what the extent of the injury was and decided to fire up this video and then edit it real quick and then make a thumbnail real quick and then upload it real quick, all within like an hour of the injury happening? Yeah, right. So this guy's given a script beforehand. That's the only way he can have a video out like this the same night as the injury. This is the same doctor who had an injury video out for Damar Hamlin the night that he passed out on purpose, right? This is the same doctor who had a injury video out for Aaron Rodgers when he had one of the fakest injuries I've ever seen with the Jets 3 years ago. Opening game for the Jets, opening series, Aaron Rodgers just sits down, grabs his ankle, doesn't even pretend to be in any pain at all. And this doctor's like, Aaron Rodgers, you can clearly see his ankle, his ligament pop right here. So he's going to do the same thing right here in this video.
Conor McGregor's long-awaited return ended just horrifically after suffering an injury to his right knee on the very first moment of the fight when he tried to throw this aggressive kick. And in this video, we'll take a closer look what I think this injury is, plus the footage of before the fight that showed he may have had an injury coming into this fight to begin with. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Dr. Brian Suter, and the goal on the channel is to...
So that's the main narrative they want to spin to all the UFC fanboys. Pre-existing injury. No, it wasn't a fake fight. It was real, man. He had a pre-existing injury. That's what they want to sell you. That's the excuse. So anyone who lost money on this, they can have this excuse in their head that they lost the money because of a pre-existing injury. Maybe that'll make them feel a little bit better. The people who paid for that shit, they can be like, oh, it was a pre-existing injury. Maybe that makes them feel better when they sleep at night. Anybody who has a working brain, you can see that those guys weren't really trying to hurt each other. It wasn't a real fight. But the doctor, he comes on that same night to push the pre-existing injury narrative. And then he's going to give his expert opinion on something that he watched on TV that night.
Teach more about the medical side of the sports world. This was literally the very first thing that McGregor did. He came out, right? The announcers are talking about he's full of energy, right? It's his first fight out, and he goes and throws this crazy, ridiculous kick, and he lands really awkwardly on that right leg. Now, a lot of people are going to see this. The commentators were talking about it looked like he blew out his knee. I will admit, yes, this position looks like the classic position that you will see with an ACL tear in terms of the rotation of how the foot is externally rotated, the idea that we see a little bit of the knee going inward, the trunk is leaning over his injured side. But what you don't see on this injury is the classic pivot shift that you will sometimes see with an ACL tear. Now, that doesn't mean that this is not an ACL tear, but you at least don't see that stereotypical kind of pathognomonic shift forward.
Pathognomonic. See, so he's just blah, 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 doctor jargon
of the tibia and then pop backwards like we would if you could confirm 100% that this was an ACL. I think looking at it from this view is a little bit better because we can see kind of straight on. So here he goes and jumps off of that right side, twists as he lands down. This is a really awkward position for the knee, right? We can see a couple of different things. Number one, we can see how his trunk is leaning over that injured side.
So we're to believe that the doctor was sitting there watching the fights live, and then this injury happened, and he's like, this is perfect. This is exactly what I do for a living. I break down high-profile sports injuries, and I'm sitting here watching this live. I'm going to write myself a script real quick. I'm going to get my light and my suit and tie all set up and my camera. Everything's ready to go, and I'm going to quickly make this video, and then I'm going to quickly edit this video, and then I'm going to quickly upload this video, and I'm going to have it out within the same hour of the injury happening because I'm Dr. Sutter, and I'm the best in the business. I literally watch every live sporting event known to man, and if I see an injury, then I automatically jump into work mode and I upload a video within the same hour of the injury occurring. Nobody is as fast as I am at reporting and diagnosing injuries that I see live on television, right? Like, come on. So if this guy's involved and has a video like this detailed video like this ready to go the same night, And this is the same guy that he broke down Damar Hamlin and said that he had commotio chorditis. And he broke down Aaron Rodgers' fake ass injury when he sat down with the Jets. And now here he is giving the breakdown on this UFC fight. What does that tell you? It means he's not like a real doctor doing this of his own accord just to make content. No, this guy's given this script beforehand. So the doctor is given this script to read. And so that means they have to have this injury scripted to happen to have this doctor have this ready to go in order to have this video up the exact same night that the injury happens. So the fact that this guy is involved, to me, that's the smoking gun that this is a scripted injury.
That's a strike against you when it comes to an ACL tear. We can see that he's landing on a relatively flat foot. That's going to be strike number 2. That foot's a little bit externally rotated. Strike number 3. This is not a 3 strikes and you're out situation though, so bad comparison to use there. But as he comes forward here, we don't really see that classic like internal rotation of the lower leg, this knee abduction, the ankle kind of swinging out as the leg rotates inward. You really don't see that very clearly whenever he's coming through this kick and landing. Also, right, the get injured when there is a landing and a...
And then right here, we got the 33 on the jersey. So we got the skull and bones and 33. So there's your symbolism. So fanboys will parrot the narrative that there was a pre-existing injury, and then you have the doctor here. He's authenticating that story. The doctor, he's considered to be the expert by the fanboys, and so they have the doctor's video get pumped in the algorithm to anyone who watches the UFC, anyone who talks about UFC, anyone who talks about McGregor or that fight. The algorithm will shove Dr. Sutterer into their feed, so then they'll be shown this narrative that he must have had this pre-existing injury, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, you look at the doctor and you think, oh, okay, so he just so happened to upload this the same night that the injury happened. So we're to believe a doctor just watches all these UFC fights just in case there's a major injury. And there just so happened that there was. And so he jumped into gear and made this video and it goes viral. And he's doing it just because he wants to inform everybody about the severity of the injury. Sure. And he just so happens to have the 33 and the skull and bones back here. So yeah, there you go. They make it obvious, don't they? Now, this isn't something that your typical fanboy is going to catch. And the reason why I know all about this doctor is because he said that Damar Hamlin had commotio chorditis when he fake passed out with the Bills 3 years ago. And then he said that Aaron Rodgers' ligament popped, and then he showed this replay like where they doctored the footage of Aaron Rodgers. So this guy right here, he's in the business of authenticating scripted injuries for a living. That's what he does. Check it out. His most popular video. If I go to videos, and then I go to most popular, what's it going to be? The Damar Hamlin video.
Medicine, as Damar Hamlin went down with what appeared to be cardiac arrest after taking this hit on the field. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Dr. Brian Suter, and on this channel, I try to...
So this is when I found out about Brian Suter when he did this video about Damar Hamlin's collapse. And he's like, oh, he suffers from commotio chorditis, which of course is a cardiac condition, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, dude, he fake passed out. So there was a whole lot of bullshit about the Damar Hamlin collapse. So you have a dude fake pass out, pretend to pass out on purpose. And then you have people like, oh my God, he died on the field. Oh, it was a fax injury. Oh my God. No. As a dude pretending to pass out. So this was when I first learned that this doctor is part of the script. So anybody want to try and stick up for the doctor, this dude was vouching for the Damar Hamlin collapse, right?
teach you about the sports medicine world and give you some insight into what we see on the field. Only think we're going to read about in textbooks. Essentially, what can happen is if you have a blunt trauma to the chest that occurs at exactly the right time in the cardiac electrical cycle, your heart can be sent into cardiac arrest. As Hamlin comes in here, we can see this square hit to the front of his chest. We see him get back up momentarily before ultimately collapsing back down to the ground.
So I remember when I saw this, I was like, how the hell did he make this video? It just happened. Like, he had this shit out the same night that it happened. And I was like, how did he edit this? How's he like got his camera and his shirt and tie and his hair done and he's like all ready for this? Like, so I was pointing out how like the halftime crew, the pregame crew, they had all these scripted lines ready to go that night. They had all this time to fill and they filled it just perfectly with all these talking points. You had the doctor come on, right? I'm like the only guy who broke down the Damar Hamlin shit and talked about it being scripted. I got a fuckload of views. I got a ton of views breaking that down. I was the only guy who said it was scripted. So that's how I found out about this Brian Sutter guy. And then, like I said, he also did the Aaron Rodgers injury as well. So well, let me put that one on real quick.
My goal in this channel is to help teach you about the medical side of the sports world. So if sports injuries and anatomy and that sort of thing interest you, then please consider subscribing to stay up to date and support the channel. Let's dive right into this. And at the time of recording, there's about 13 minutes left in the second quarter. We've heard that Rodgers is officially questionable to return.
He's making this video during the game. The game hasn't even wrapped up. See? So somehow he gets the video out and he's going to talk about Aaron Rodgers' injury. And the game ain't even the halftime yet. I mean, come on. Like, this is a real doctor who just loves watching every live sporting event just in case there's a high-profile injury so he can be the first one to report on it. Come on, man.
And they're calling it an ankle injury. So what do I see on this play? What would I be thinking about? Well, number one, I think we're dealing with the left leg. I don't really see anything abnormal with the right. And so until we hear otherwise, I think we got to focus on this left calf. As he plants here, I want you to see how in this frame, everything is pretty taut in the back of his calf. We can see these little contours. That's going to be his calf musculature. His foot is anchored and planted on the ground. And then as I advance a couple of frames, we see everything just kind of release. And it's right there in that release where I'm worried he might have suffered.
Dude, nothing happens on the play, dude. Aaron Rodgers did not take a hard hit. His ankle didn't get folded underneath. Nothing happens to Aaron Rodgers at all that looked like he would cause any injury. And so I remember vividly Aaron Rodgers standing in the huddle right after this. And then it's like he's told something in his helmet. And then he just sits down and then grabs his ankle. So he was standing and acting fine right after this. And then he sat down. So I remember when I saw the doctor report on this, that's when I knew for sure that this doctor is part of the script. So there you go. 3 different examples of how that same doctor is tied back to other scripted injuries that I know for sure are fake as fuck, right? So yeah, the fact that the doctor was used for this latest injury, to me, that is smoking gun proof that the injury was scripted. There was no pre-existing injury to Conor McGregor. And you won't hear that breakdown anywhere else but right here on the Jake the Awake channel. And I got a few super chats that came in from let's see. Got one from Lintaway Air Duct Cleaning, says 33 jersey in the back. Yep. Just so happens the doctor that reports on these high profile sports injuries, he just so coincidentally happens to have the Skull and Bones and 33 just behind him. Nothing to see here. RY says, Land on the Moon guy is offended. He says it's real. You guys sound like you are fucking insane, and I will not let you into my store if I hear you talking like this, my friend. That old man, it was very sad when he got launched in the air by the bison. I was going to take a trip to Yellowstone, my friend, but now I am going to cancel. I am not going to be going anywhere near these bison, not after they have been agitated and aggravated, my friend. I do not want to end up like that poor old man being launched into the air, my friend. I have better things to do with my free time, like go and watch the San Francisco 49ers. And then we land on the mall. We land on the mall. Land on the mall. We land on the mall. All right. Getting a little out of hand here with my stupid impressions. All right. Curtis Nelson says, oh my God, what a scripted fight. Do more UFC, Jake. So here's the thing. I uploaded my first ever UFC breakdown. And then in the second hour, the algorithm just started pumping it to some new people. And so I started seeing all these new comments from people who I've never seen before. And then I checked the stats in the studio backstage, and it showed that the algorithm was pumping it to some new people. And then I started seeing my subscriber count go up for a change. And I was like, okay, well, maybe there's something to this UFC breakdown thing after all. So I know that was a high profile fight. A lot more people watched that fight than other UFC fights. So we'll see if I cover some other UFC fights, if they do as good as this last one. But for my first time doing a UFC breakdown video, the video did pretty well and drew some new people. I got new subscribers. And so all of the analytics seem to be good. And it got some triggered, upset UFC fanboys to show up and defend the UFC. So, yeah, all that's good. So for all those reasons, I'd be a fool not to make more UFC content. So, yeah, if I upload a video and it gets a good view count and lots of engagement and all the analytics are all good, then, yeah, man, I'll make more. And the thing about the UFC is that they do events, like one big event a month. So, it's not like the NFL where it goes out of season. So I'll have something to cover, like once a month now, an extra topic to talk about. So yeah, let's add scripted UFC to the Jake the Awake repertoire. All right. Curtis says, God damn it, Jake. If it's in a stadium, it's fake. Yeah, events where there's going to be a shitload of people in a stadium and there's a shitload of money on the line. You bet your ass it's not going to be left to chance. However, the one exception to the rule is like when they let high school football teams play the state championship games in the stadiums. So the lower level high school football teams sometimes will get invited to a big stadium to play their championship games. So there are some examples of stadiums being used by like high school teams. And in the case where the high school games are being played legit, that would be the one example, I guess you could say, where there's a real game going on in a stadium. But if there's a betting line, then rest assured it's going to be fixed. All right. RY says, Jake, I meant he said the UFC fight was real. Oh, yeah. See, I showed the grandpa getting gored by the bison earlier. And then, for whatever reason, I had the Land on the Moon guy talk about that. So, oops, my bad, dude. I can't go back and undo the impression, though. And if I do 2 Land on the Moon guy impressions saying that the fight was real back to back, it's going to be lame. So I'm going to have to owe you a different impression tonight. So think of something else for me to do, buddy. All right. Truth Hurts says, layup. Love you, Jake. Nobody on YouTube can touch you. No one. Well, thank you. I appreciate the kind words. I know what I do here is one of a kind. But you know what? There's a lot of people who appreciate slop. You know, there's hordes of people who want to watch Jack Morgan upload the same old slop each day where he's like, do you guys remember what it's like to watch DVDs? Yeah. Does anyone here remember DVDs? Crazy, right? There's some people who are in the world right now who've never watched the DVD. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, from downtown. People are like, we love you, Jack. I watched the DVD today. I remember. Right? So there's a lot of people who enjoy watching a lot of slop. And so, yeah, I realize I'm not the slop. I'm different. Like what we do here, this stream, these streams and the videos I make, it's like, completely different than everyone else and everything. But that's good, you know? That's a good thing. So thank you guys for being here and enjoying this one-of-a-kind thing that happens here, right? Thank God that you guys are here to enjoy this. Otherwise, I'd have nobody. All right. So you guys ready to hop over into a different subject, switch it up, talk about some flat earth news? We might have some shills waiting here in chat to slander me if I start talking about the earth not being a globe and some of these flat earth shills. There's some paid shills out there, and I think their job is to watch me just in case I start talking about the earth being flat. Just in case I start talking about some of the shills who are involved in the scripted flat earth rollout. So some of them might show up tonight, start maybe slandering me, talking some shit. That's to be expected. So I don't know if you guys remember Shill Duffy.
And
he was the supposed Christian pastor, wealthy millionaire businessman who wanted to settle the flat earth versus globe earth debate. And he supposedly, using his own money, funded a trip to Antarctica where he invited Jaron and Witsit Gitsit and MC Toon and himself and Dave McKeegan and a few others. And they went to Antarctica, supposedly, to see the 360 sun. And this was supposedly going to prove whether Earth was a globe or flat once and for all. You guys remember that? I talked about it before they went, and I said that Jaron was going to flip to being a globe defender and that he was going to go full-on globe cuck. And I called it out 6 months in advance, and that's exactly what happened. And then when he got back, Jaron flipped on the moon landing as well, started saying that the moon landing was real and that Katy Perry really went to space. So anyway, the footage that he got with his Shill crew, there was supposed to be a documentary that was supposed to come out, but there's been a holdup with the production of the documentary. So this is a update on the documentary that was supposed to come out. And so, yeah, if you guys remember, like it was December 2024, they supposedly went to Antarctica, and I said that they possibly went to a studio and that they possibly used green screens, like a green screen studio. So I said that they possibly could have faked the trip to Antarctica using some sort of green screen studio, Hollywood style special effects and whatnot, and that each person involved in the trip is totally not trustworthy. So anyway, here's a update from Shill Duffy. And yes, he kind of does look like me. I have no control over that.
hey, everyone. It's been almost 8 months to the day since I did the farewell live stream. here on the channel. The farewell live stream is actually my wife's favorite video on the TFE YouTube channel. First thing you're going to notice is no more green screen. That was one thing that my family was done with, was the green screen studio that I used for the TFE videos. But I wanted to give everybody an update on the documentary. This is a major update. We all thought that the documentary would be done in time for the 1-year anniversary of our trip.
Okay, so he claims he's not using a green screen, and I notice all the books are all kind of blurry to where you can't make out the names of any of the books, really. It's like all the text is blurry behind him, and he's just in this like random bookshelf corner here. Like, I'm not using a green screen. My family didn't like it. And then I also noticed that his mouth and the audio don't seem to line up very well. So it almost seems like we might be looking at an AI version of Will Duffy. I can't say for sure, but there's something about the speech not quite lining up with his mouth and the way he moves. Something about him seems a bit artificial. And if he did fake, or if he was part of a fake Antarctica expedition and they did use green screens and technology, then they might try and switch it up and use some other trickery or some other technology like an AI Will Duffy. So any form of trickery that they might use, I wouldn't put it past them, especially when you have liars and snakes like this figurehead Will Duffy involved. And this guy, in my opinion, was a figurehead. I don't believe that he used any of his own money to fund this. I believe that's all just a story, a backstory for this figurehead character. I think that this guy's given a script to read. He was given a script all those times he appeared on camera, and I think he's given a script here again to read. So I don't think for a second that he's speaking of his own accord. And I think he was trained by people like MC Toon and these other professional globe cucks to give his lines and to play his role. And I talked about all that back when this all went down. So you guys probably remember, if you remember me breaking this down a year and a half ago, back when they did this fake trip.
The reality is Jonathan Morandi, who's the Flat Earth filmmaker who went with us on the trip, he has a family to feed. And so he's had to do other projects as well. And most importantly, there is only one shot at doing this documentary. So no matter what, we have to get it right. It's not going to be like the 1980 USA Miracle hockey team, where they are still making documentaries over 40 years later, which are still amazing to watch, by the way. And so to do this right does take time. If you've ever seen the documentary Free Solo, which is honestly one of the most terrifying films I've ever seen.
So he's obviously reading a script, and no, he did not write this script. So I always pointed out how you can tell by the cadence in which he's reading the script that he's reading a fucking script. So yeah, I don't think Will Duffy did any of this on his own. He was coached along, told what to say, where to be. So every time this guy appears on camera, he's just a figurehead puppet. He's just the face for the normies to believe that this Christian pastor is the guy who settled the flat earth versus globe earth argument. So they had to have somebody go on camera and be the face of the final experiment. And Will Duffy was chosen to be that guy. And so he starts asking at one point for fundraising for this documentary. Let me see right here.
Done with them. So Flat Earth Banjo, congratulations. You just earned yourself a spot in the documentary. So we set up a GoFundMe to get this 50,000 raised. And here's the best part. For those who can help us cross the finish line, you have the opportunity to have your name in the credits. There is a link to the GoFundMe in the description below.
So without having to sit and listen to this shill for too long, because he's very boring, he's asking for money. It's a GoFundMe, you guys. So wealthy millionaire Christian pastor Will Duffy, who funded supposedly the final experiment, is now asking for donations for a GoFundMe to release a docu-series. So instead of releasing the documentary like he said he was going to do, now he needs money to release a docu-series. And if you donate, you get your name in the docu-series credits. Ooh, doesn't that sound exciting? Who wouldn't want to give their money to this so that you can appear in the credits of the 4-part final experiment docu-series? Wow. I can't decide whether to donate my money to this or to Beartardia 3.0.
When you go there, you'll see there are various levels of support. We tried to make something for everyone, so this would be accessible to as many people as possible. We have 3 executive producer spots available. That's the most prestigious credit, in my opinion, and will also get you on IMDb, which is pretty cool.
It will also get you on IMDb, which is pretty cool. Ooh, your name listed on IMDb. Ooh. Yeah, I called out Jaron for having an IMDb, which would list these flat earth hit piece documentaries. So then Jaron turned around and he made this fake IMDb listing for me. But I've never been in anything. I've never been in any hit piece documentaries. I've never done any acting in any movies or any TV shows. I've never been in any commercials or anything. So literally there's no credits. So Jaron was just like YouTube. So Jaron made a fake IMDb for me, but there's no credits because I wasn't in anything. So he just listed YouTube, my own YouTube channel. So essentially anyone can make one of those for anyone. So you get to donate to have your name listed in the credits and then listed as an IMDb. Like, what are you going to get out of that? What a scam.
We have 5 co-producer spots, 10 associate producer spots, and 25 featured support spots available. That will get your name in the credits of all 4 episodes. And then we have individual episode supporter spots for episodes 1 through 4. And I can tell you, we have some cool things planned for the credits, including an end credits scene. So people will be sticking around to the very end.
All right. So asking for money. Will, I thought you were supposed to be a wealthy millionaire Christian pastor. And didn't you successfully already end the debate between whether the earth is a globe or flat? And now here you are begging for 50K? Not a good look. This kind of makes you look like you're some sort of a beggar, some sort of a grifter. I mean, I have my doubts that you even funded the Antarctica trip to begin with. I mean, out of all the people, you chose Whitsitt and Jaron? Not a good look. This just further proves Will Duffy is nothing more than a shill bitch and a figurehead. He doesn't even seem like he really knows what's going on. He's just reading a script. Yeah. So there's the latest flat earth news, the final experiment that supposedly settled the debate between globe earth and flat earth with the Shill crew who went to Antarctica. They need money. They need to raise money. And he just recently put out a new video like a couple weeks ago.
Documentary to a docuseries. Hey everyone, I have got another massive update about the documentary turned docuseries. We just exceeded halfway of our goal of raising $50,000 to turn it from a standalone documentary to a docuseries. I promise that's what everybody's going to want.
Wow. So they raised apparently 27 grand of 50K already. So more than halfway there to turn the documentary into a docu-series. Hey guys, I would release a documentary encompassing my 10-year career here, but if you give me 50K, then I'll release 4 mini documentaries instead. Now, of course, I would never run a scam like this. I would never ask you guys to donate like a gigantic amount of money like this and then say that it's for a 4-part docu-series after he already claimed that the final experiment was going to be made into a documentary, right? So he already said it was that the footage was going to be used to make this massive documentary, and it was going to be huge when it comes out. And now they need $50K for a 4-part docu-series. Kind of sketchy. Kind of sketchy. Kind of a lot sketchy, in my opinion, right? So yeah, what kind of globe cucks are actually donating to that? I can't imagine any real people wanting to donate to this. So I'm wondering how much of this $27K is legit money from people who want to see this.
A standalone documentary to a docu-series. I promise that's what everybody's going to want. Everybody wants to know the whole story of everything that happened, and there's too much to tell in a single documentary. I'll give the update on this at the end. First, I've got to tell you guys a couple of things that are happening and happened already. It's just kind of too much. And again, the fact that the documentary is not done is going to end up probably being a blessing in disguise, because all of these things that are happening really need to be recorded. So the first one is this. Flat Earth Dave, someone made me aware that he did an interview on a YouTube channel called...
All right, check out how no wrinkles on his forehead, no wrinkles. And this guy's like in his 40s. So there's some sort of filter being used on his face. Look at this smoothing right here. Look how smooth this is. Almost white. Look at this. How he's got like white around his eyes. There's something very strange about this version of Will. Definitely a filter of some kind. And like I said, it almost seems like an AI Will is being used. I could be wrong about that, but definitely the fact that there's no lines on the forehead, no wrinkles at all. His nose is like completely smoothed over. The white around the eyes. Something up with his face for sure that isn't natural.
Called Apollo the Original. And they sent it to me, and I decided, I guess I'll watch it just to kind of see what he's saying now that we're well over a year after our trip to Antarctica, which of course he turned down. And I could not believe the things he was saying on this podcast / interview.
So then he brings up Flat Earth Dave, who's like the biggest shill in the controlled Flat Earth rollout with his tracking app.
Strange for Dave Weiss to open this discussion like this, because couldn't these exact same arguments be used against him?
Where they took some people, it was supposed to be designed for me because I was been waking up too many people with my app.
They took some people and it was designed for me because I've been waking up too many people with my app. Oh yeah. The Antarctica trip was designed for Flat Earth Dave here because he was waking up so many people with his app. You know, his debunked Flat Earth tracking app that still has a circling sun and circling moon, which is provably wrong. Yeah, that app.
With with all the interviews I'm doing, and they wanted to take me down. But I have a very good sense of evil. I just met you.
Discernment.
I can tell you're a good guy. I can tell before you open your mouth, right? I can tell. I got an email and I felt literally demonic forces, right? And it was like, we're doing this experiment. I'm like, what's the experiment? You're looking at the sun? Like, wait, what? And then a second email, and I replied back, I don't deal with demons. Don't ever contact me again. And it turned into a whole ordeal. But they ended up taking down the biggest anti-flat earth paid agents to Antarctica. And they were the first ones ever to film a 24-hour sun down there. No instant.
All right. So Flat Earth Dave here. There's still some Flat Earth cult member morons who think that Dave's legit. He's hung out with Alex Jones, the one before they switched out Alex Jones with the new Alex Jones imposter character. So the fat Alex Jones, the one that may have been Bill Hicks, yet Flat Earth Dave here hung out with him and Eddie Bravo on the same show. and they goofed off and talked about flat earth, and Dave got to hawk his app to Alex Jones' audience. So he's hung out with Alex Jones. He's hung out with Roseanne on her podcast, Jim Brewer. So I would argue that out of all the flat earthers, that Flat Earth Dave here is the biggest fed of them all. Flat Earth Dave, fed. And so the fact that he gets to hang out with these big club members means Dave is in the big club. He's the only one that has the Flat Earth tracking app that he makes a ton of money on, and he has made a ton of money on. And so he gets to hawk his app on every interview. And so I don't know how anybody can still trust a guy like Dave when he's literally went on these shill shows and pushed this tracking app where he gets to see a blue dot of where you are on the map. He gets to keep track of where you are. Maybe even open up your camera and take a look at you, right? God knows what sort of terms of service are involved with that app that you agree to. So anyway, out of all the names that Will Duffy brings up, he of course brings up the top Flat Earth shill, Flat Earth Dave. So Flat Earth Dave is like the main controlled opposition. He's made to look like he's the leader of the Flat Earth, like he's the one exposing the Flat Earth to the most people, but really he's the one being pushed along by mainstream media shills the most, because he is a shill. And the fact that he's pushing along a tracking app, if you confront him about his app, you know what he says? You're already being tracked. The government's already spying on you. Why do you care about my app if you're already being tracked? That's what he says. So anybody who's like, hey, Dave, what's up with this tracking app? What? You're already being spied on and tracked. Why do you care about my app? All right. I got some super chats that came in a while ago. Let me go back and knock these out for you. We got RY. He wants me to do some Morgan Freeman. So the fight was real. Trust me. Now, if you'll trust me, you'll go out and you'll get the vaccine. Now, I went and I got the vaccine, and people say that they trust me. Now, if you trust me, you'll agree that fight was most definitely real. It's as real as me also being Jimi Hendrix. Now, some people think that I used to be Jimi Hendrix, and then I became a Hollywood actor known for playing roles as an old black man. But now the secret is out, and people are starting to ask questions whether or not I used to be Jimi Hendrix. Well, the truth is, sometimes when the camera's not rolling, I like to go pull my old Fender Strat out of the closet, and I like to play a little voodoo child like the old days. And it's not something I'm allowed to show anyone or do on camera anymore, but I just want you to know that I still have the ability to be a voodoo child. There you go. Morgan Freeman admitting that he's Jimi Hendrix. And I gave you a little extra because I screwed up on your super chat impression from earlier. So there you go. If you trust me, an old black Hollywood actor who may or may not have been Jimi Hendrix, then you'll take the vaccine and agree that that fight was real. Conor McGregor, he had a pre-existing injury. All right. There you go. Hopefully that makes up for the screwed up impression I did earlier. Curtis Nelson says, Pupper's dog food. Tell Doggo Earth is flat. Oh, I've told Ralphie many times that the Earth is not a globe. He knows already. He's sick of hearing me talk about it. But he appreciates the donations. He's actually asleep right now, so I don't want to disturb him. He looks really cute. He's sleeping in the chair next to me. See? There he is. Sleeping. Oh, look at cute Ralphie sleeping in the chair. See? So I would wake him up and let him know. But, oh, now that I said that, he just woke up. He just woke up. There he is. Did I wake you up, Ralph? There you go. A little Ralph action for you. Thank you, Curtis, for the generous donation, buddy. I appreciate it. And Curtis also gifting 5 Jake the Awake memberships. Hey, if you guys get one of these gifted Jake the Awake memberships, thank Big Money Bob or Big Kurt here for their generosity on this fine Wake 'em Up Wednesday. Kurt coming in with another super chat says, Jaron smokes pull. Hey guys, so I just want to let you know that I am the only real truther, and I took a joint to Antarctica, and it was real, you guys. I have no reason to lie. I'm the only real truther. I'm the only one who had balls to go to Antarctica. Nobody else had balls except for me, you guys. So when I came back, that's when I realized if I was wrong about the flat earth, yeah, well, maybe I'm wrong about the moon landing. So that's when I realized that space is real and the earth is a globe, you guys. I'm the only real truther, you guys. And since I'm the only real truther, that's why I stopped uploading content. Nobody wants to hear the real truth, that the earth's a globe, that the moon landing's real, you guys. Curtis Nelson says, even Crow 777 lied about the final experiment. A whole lot of shills came out of the woodwork for that shit. And then when it was over, some of the shills just disappeared, right? So there were some people that showed up and started whole channels talking about the final experiment and Will Duffy being a shill. And then like a month or two after all the talk about it died down, once they got back, then those channels just basically disappeared, right? So yeah, there was a whole lot of misinformation and disinformation. I remember there was even a few supposed flat earthers that were calling themselves rising earthers that showed up at the exact same time, tried to get this new version of flat earth going where the flat earth is constantly rising and shooting upward. Yeah. Just so happened that these rising earther guys opposed Jaron and the final experiment at the exact same time I started calling it out. And then these rising earther guys, oh, you know, a few months after the final experiment was over and the talk died down, yeah, these rising earther guys, they just disappeared. They just rose away, I guess. Yeah. Gee, I wonder what happened to those rising earthers who claimed to be so emphatic about getting the truth about the rising earth. It was like their life's passion to bust Jaron in the final experiment and talk about the rising earth. Gee, I wonder what happened to Nechikita and Zetetic Warrior. Those rising earthers. Where'd they go? I remember there was a few thousand people that like started this like new little rising earth. It wasn't even a few thousand. It was like maybe a few hundred started this new little rising earth cult. And then disappeared. Yeah. Funny how the shills come and they go. Strategically at certain moments, these channels will appear, talk about something for 6 months, a year, or whatever, and then disappear. Just stop without a trace. Meanwhile, the real deal still here, still kicking ass, right? When a subject gets old, when people stop talking about a certain subject, I move on and I talk about other shit because I'm a real guy and I'm not part of any of their controlled rollouts. So when one subject gets stale, people are tired of hearing about it, and I'm sick of talking about it, I move on and talk about other shit. But you don't see them rising earthers around anymore. Huh. Anybody remember them? Yeah. They come and they go. Trout fishing at Hood Park. Oh, and speaking of Crow 777, his sidekick Rose 777, who just so happened to take in Nachiketa, just so happened to do streams with Zetetic Warrior, just so happened to tie back to Jaren and Dave at the Baby Truther show, who just so happened to tie to Alex Stein on the Baby Truther show, who just so happens to tie to Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones, who just so happened to tie to Joe Rogan, who just so happens to tie to Trump. See how it works? You can go from the bottom fucking nobody shills like Crow and Rose 777, and you can tie these shills through 6 degrees of shill separation all the way back to Donald Trump. Trump has been on Rogan's show, and Rogan has had Alex Jones on his show. Alex Jones and Tucker Carlson tie back. Alex Jones and Flat Earth Dave tie back. And the Baby Truther show with Flat Earth Dave and Alex Stein and Jaren and Rose 777. Rose 777 with Crow 777, right? See how I just went from Trump all the way down to fucking nobodies like Rose and Crow? How about that? And those connections are real. You can go back and find that person tying back to that person directly, just like I stated. I'm the only one who can explain that. The only one on the internet who can explain the shill connections from the bottom irrelevant shills that hardly anyone's heard of and connect them all the way back to Trump. The only one who can explain it right here. You're looking at them. All right. Trout fishing at Hood Park with a very generous donation says, can't triangulate the sun back to the same spot. Sun can't be circling or moving away when it sets. Yes, this is truth. I've shown it many times. The problem is it involves having to know about sunset angles and sunrise angles and moonset angles and moonrise angles, which can be highly technical. And so if I start talking about, the sun rises on the equinox at 90 degrees east and sets at 270 west for practically everyone, and that's impossible with one sun being on the equator going in a circle, people are like, huh? What? So it's hard for people to follow the technicality of the sunrise and sunset angles and how it doesn't match one singular sun going in a circle. But for those who've taken the time to do that research and look at the stuff I've shown on my channel over the years as regards to that topic and the flat earth models and all the different flat earth models that have been pushed, you, sir, are correct in stating that you can't triangulate the sun, right? You can't pinpoint the sun as being in just one location because the sun is not what they say it is. It is not a gigantic burning fireball 93 million miles away, and it's not a localized sun going in a circle over an AE map. The sun is something else, and they've lied about what the sun is and how it works. So when you go back and you look at the data of what's happening with the sun and you compare it with multiple observers around the map, and you realize that the sunrise and sunset angles definitely do not match a circular sun path or a circling moon path at all. That's when you realize all the people who were pushing that were shills and liars. So then when you tell the shills and the liars that they were wrong and you prove them wrong, and then they go, nuh-uh, you're wrong, Jake. And they just disregard the proof. Well, then you're in a standstill. So that's what happened. I went to battle with all these shills, proved them wrong. And then certain shills, like Eric Dubé and Russian vids, they just stood there and were like, nuh-uh, it does go in a circle. And the sun shrinks into a dot. And Jake is wrong. and the proof he's showing is not right. So yeah, man, even with all the stuff that I've shown, there's still shills pushing that same disinformation to this day, including this guy on screen right here, Dave Weiss. Although Dave has changed up his story a bit, but he still pushes that debunked tracking app. All right. RY says Dave Weiss interprets for Stephen Hawking.
He says that you should download my app. It's the only app in the world that'll tell you the position of the sun and the moon over the flat earth. And you can use the friend finder and you can find other flat earthers. So you might be lonely if you believe that the earth is flat. And that's exactly why I invented the Flat Earth Tracking app, was to help flat earthers find dates and find friends to hang out with. And so I get emails literally every day from people saying how useful my app is. So you can find Flat Earth Hangouts. So all you need to do is download my app. Just download my app. You're already being tracked by the government, so who cares if I'm tracking you as well? Download my app. I'm waking up so many people with my app. I'm going to go on Alex Jones, Roseanne, talk about my app. That's what Stephen Hawking said. I'm just translating for Stephen Hawking.
There you go. That's literally what Dave would say if he was to translate for Stephen Hawking. That's not even an over-the-top exaggeration at all. Like if you were to ask Dave to do the translating for Stephen Hawking, in real life, he would pretty much do something like what I just did in my impression there. He would turn it into a commercial for his fucking app. All right. Love World Peace. Love World Peace Nearing with a donation says, Morgan Freeman is Jimi Hendrix. He's a shapeshifter. So the funny thing about that is, if it's true, if Morgan Freeman is Jimi Hendrix or was Jimi Hendrix, then that means maybe he has a Fender in his closet, and when nobody's looking, no cameras are rolling, when the time is just right and he has some alone time, some free time, I wonder if he whips out the old Fender Strat, plays a little Voodoo Child. Well, I'm standing next to a mountain and I chop it down with the edge of my hand. Right? Wouldn't that be cool if Morgan Freeman secretly rocks out some Voodoo Child in privacy when nobody's looking? You know, it's such a fun thought that I hope it's true. I don't have any concrete evidence to show you guys that Jimi Hendrix became Morgan Freeman, and I've never made a video pushing that. So I'm going to say on record, I don't know if Jimi Hendrix became Morgan Freeman. I have absolutely zero proof, other than the fact that like they kind of look a little bit similar, maybe. So other than that, yeah, I got nothing. But I've thought about it. And just the thought of Morgan Freeman whipping out the guitar, playing a little Voodoo Child for old time's sake, it's a fun thought. So for that reason alone, I kind of hope it's true. I do. All right. Red Rock Plays says, truth is we are solar beings with individual suns. I agree. The problem is most people, they can't follow the technicality of the sunrise and sunset angles to come to that conclusion. And so I've shown people like how on the equinox, everybody is essentially going to see the sun rise from 90 degrees east and set 270 west. So if everybody on the same day is going to get about 12 hours of sunlight and 12 hours of darkness, and everyone's going to see essentially the exact same sunrise and sunset on the equinox, which happens twice a year, every year. That means it's impossible for it to be one big burning gas ball 93 million miles away. And it's also impossible for it to be a localized sun over an AE map going in a circle. And so the only plausible explanation, if everybody sees 90-degree east sunrise on the equinox every single year, we all have our own individual sun. And when you look out the window while you're speeding along on the freeway at the sun or the moon, it seems like the sun or the moon is stuck with you. So what I think is happening is that we live in a super hyper realistic video game. Like this is some sort of super hyper realistic simulation video game that we're in. And it's like a computerized realm, except it's so realistic that we feel pain and we experience emotions. And, but the fact that the sun and the moon are doing something that's not possible, the sun and the moon and the stuff in the sky are essentially like doing something magical that's unexplainable by modern science. And so I'm stuck trying to figure it out myself. The best I can come up with is that this is some sort of simulation, hyper-realistic video game, and that we have our own virtual dome over each of us. Each player in the game has a virtual dome over their head where your own sun and your own stars, your own moon is all being projected to you individually, depending on where you are upon the map. So yeah, I believe this place is not what they tell us. And I don't believe in a heaven or a hell that they describe to us. I don't believe in any of the man-made religions. So right here, right now, I'm proclaiming, I, Jake Gibson of the Jake the Awake channel, I think this is like a fucking giant hell realm video game. And I am announcing right now that I have figured it out. I figured out what this is. Whether you guys have or not, doesn't matter. I have. So I'm stating right here, right now, regardless of what anyone thinks or says about me, I know I'm living in some sort of a hyper-realistic video game or something. So now when I think about dying, it's like a completely different feeling, a completely different thought process than I had before. So when I used to believe in maybe going to a heaven or a hell or being judged in the afterlife or this or that, now I think that I'm just going to, like, when I die, I'm just going to wake up and be like, whoa, that was a crazy video game that I just played. Should I play again? Right? So I think that I sent myself here to do this. And so when I die, I'll be met with the realization that this was all just some super crazy, hyper realistic video game simulation that I was involved in. And I also believe that it's designed to be increasingly getting more difficult. So the fact that things keep getting more expensive and more shitty is, to me, proof that the difficulty of the video game is being turned up. I mean, this shithole isn't getting any easier for me. So I'm pretty sure you guys are also noticing that the difficulty of this realm, it's almost like somebody took a knob and just turned up the difficulty. Somebody just pressed a couple little buttons and updated the video game and made it more fucking difficult on everybody at the exact same time. So the only reason that I can explain time being sped up and this realm being increasingly made to be more difficult, it makes perfect sense if it is a hyper-realistic video game. It makes total sense. It's like, okay, they can speed up time because this is not a real life. It's a hyper-realistic video game. And they can increase the difficulty of living here and turn it into a virtual hell realm for virtually everybody at the same time. Because it's a virtual experience that we're all in here. That's what I think. And I think I'm the guy who's figured it out in my own special way. And I have the balls enough to talk about it. And I don't care what anyone thinks, you know. So anyone who disagrees, hey, have fun believing what you believe. And if you think that what I'm saying is wrong and I'm going to be punished for it in the afterlife, have fun thinking that. I don't believe that I'm wrong, and I don't believe I'm going to be punished in the afterlife. So I have no fear of the afterlife or being punished in the afterlife. So yeah, anybody out there who doesn't like me thinking that this is a hyper-realistic video game that I'm in, tough shit. That's what I think. So anybody who wants to tell me that I'm wrong, you're not going to shake me. I've already made up my mind. So nobody can change my mind. I've already figured it out. And then last but not least, I smoked the spirit molecule a handful of times. And the stuff that I saw and hallucinated was out of this world. And so the only way that out of this world stuff could make it into my hallucinations by smoking some substance here as a human flesh bag. The only way that makes any sense is if this is a hyper-realistic video game and the spirit molecule is codes, and the codes enable me to see these vivid hallucinations that I consider to be out of this world. So yeah, the fact that these out of these worlds hallucinations have happened to me, and I've experienced things which literally don't make any sense here in this world in the context of what I've been told and what I've learned. I had to throw all of what I was told and what I learned out the window and relearn everything. And after relearning everything, I've come to the conclusion that this is some sort of a hyper-realistic simulation video game thing, and I'm like one of the only main characters who figured it out and is talking about it right here, right now, which is pretty special. And I think I'm helping to wake other people up to this exciting truth, or at least what I believe is the truth. Now, when I die, I'm pretty sure I'm going to figure it out. So one way or the other, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. Wow. You got all that just because you sent me a $2 super chat talking about individual suns. That's how you know I have a deep appreciation for the flat earth subject and the individual suns subject. All right. The Great Bamboozler says, my theory is that the sun does circle, but the tropic is further south than what we've been shown on the AE map. Well, that's easily provably wrong. All I got to do is just throw multiple observers, multiple places on any of the maps, and then show you the sun rising in multiple locations from angles which are impossible with only one circling sun. So I've already proven this over and over and over again. And I show the websites with the sunrise and sunset angles listed. And I've shown examples of people pointing a compass at the sun who live below the Tropic of Capricorn, and proved that the sunrise and sunset angles don't match the circling path. So I've already done all of the legwork, and I can already tell you that it's highly technical shit, and some people just can't understand it, have a hard time understanding it. So they just default back to the circle because it's simpler. So the simple minds who default back to the circle, well, they've got it wrong, and they're just going to continue parroting the wrong thing. So I'm telling you, you got it wrong. It's impossible for one sun to go in a circle and rise for everyone on the equinox at 90 degrees and set for everyone at 270 west, with only one sun being on the equator on the equinox. And then the months of December, the winter months, you got a southeast sunrise and a southwest sunset from places further south than the Tropic of Capricorn reaches, which is impossible with a circling sun. So yeah, I've shown many, many, many examples, and it's all there on my channel for anyone to go back and rewatch. But if I start bringing up those websites and getting into it, it gets highly technical. People tune out, zone out. So it's one of those things where you really have to be into it and you have to be paying attention and you kind of have to know your shit in order to fully understand it. So the whole reason they came up with the simple circling sun and circling moon is because it's so simple, so easy to understand. So then when you find out it's wrong, there's a lot more to it than that. Some people don't want to admit that they were wrong about this flat earth model. And so they just stick with the one that they were taught by the shills. So that's the trouble I've always had, is trying to fix all of the damage that the shills did. All the damage that Eric Dubé did, all the damage that Russian Vids and Mark Sargent and Jeranism and all these shills did and are still doing. Yeah, I tried to fix all that with the truth, and it's been an uphill battle. So a handful of people have figured it out along with me, that it's almost like we're seeing our own individual sun and moon, our own individual stars within our own virtual dome of perspective. But then there's still people still pushing the old misinformation of a circling sun and a circling moon. And I can't get them to stop. I've proven the shills wrong time and time again. And they just keep repeating the same lies. And their followers and supporters, they keep repeating those same lies as well. So sad thing is, there won't be any consensus among the flat earthers. There's always going to be wrong information being pushed. All right. Curtis Nelson says, Jake, do you hingle? I don't know what you're saying, bro. Do you hingle surid? Do you hingle surid? I don't know, bro. I don't know what you're trying to say. It looks like you are having an issue typing the English language. I don't know if you broke out into a seizure while you were typing that, or if you're under the influence of alcohol or drugs of some sort. Or perhaps I'm just the one who's not understanding this new form of speech. But you're going to have to try again, Kurt. Sorry. RY says, Jaron does Deemsters and apologizes for everything. So guys, I snuck some spirit molecule into Antarctica, and I have some left over, and I'm going to smoke it right now, you guys, because I'm Jaron, and I'm the only real truther. Holy shit, what the fuck? What the holy fucking Jesus wiener titty fuck? You guys, I just realized I'm a total liar. I'm a shill. I'm full of shit, you guys. So I pretended to be a flat earther, and then I became a globe earther. But now I'm switching back to flat earth because I just got higher than I've ever been, and I was looking down upon my own body, and I could also see the horizon was flat. You guys, I just smoked a spirit molecule, and it spoke to me. My spirit told me Earth is flat. And I was wrong. I'm the only flat earther who switched to the globe and then back to flat earth again. You guys, Jake the Awake was right. Earth is flat. All right, so that's stupid. Stupid. All right, Allison says, Joey Kitty wants to know who designed the video game VR in the first place. Dang cats. So I couldn't tell you who designed this place or why. I'm still trying to figure that out. You know, sometimes this place seems like a hell realm, and it's almost like I was sent here to endure the hell and misfortune of this realm and somehow bring about something positive and create something positive with my time and energy here in this flesh bag suit. And what I'm doing right here, right now, I guess is the thing that I was meant to do. So sometimes I feel like this stream and me doing this, like it just happens like organically, like the words coming out of my mouth right now. I'm not even having to think. It's just happening. So it's almost like I've been programmed in this video game to be here and do what I'm doing right now for you guys for some reason. Now, why was I the guy chosen to do this? Why am I the one that gets to tell this truth? Out of all the people on the internet, I'm the guy that gets to do this strange truth-telling form of comedy and get away with it here on YouTube, while most everybody else is stuck in the Matrix and spouting off some scripted news. Like, out of all the people, here I am, this one guy doing this, and it's just happening organically right here. You know, there's something about it that, like, I don't know, like, it's like this life that only I was programmed to live, and nobody else can possibly be programmed to live this life. No other person would have been able to pull this off for as long and keep this going as long. You know what I mean? So, in a way, this video game simulation, it's beautiful and it's magical, and it's a fucking shitty hellhole all at the same time. I can't quite put my finger on it. Just when I think this place is awesome and I can manipulate it and make all of my dreams come true, then it'll kick me in the balls and remind me how much this place can suck ass as well. And then I'll be like, this place is a hellhole. And I guess I was sent here to like learn something in this hellhole or something. So I go back and forth between this place being like a demonic hell realm, and I'm here trying to do something positive and make something good while I'm here, versus it being this awesome magical realm that if I can just harness the powers of manipulating this video game realm, I can make all of my wildest dreams come true. But I have to manifest it, and I have to truly believe it, and I have to truly want it. So then I have to wonder, did I stick myself here? Like, was this the choice that I made before I was ever born? Like, did I make this choice that I was going to live this life before I ever made any of these choices to live this life? So it's kind of a mind fuck, you know? Kind of hard to figure out for sure, but I'm confident that when I die, it's all going to be revealed, and I'll be like, oh, so that's what that was all about. So I'm pretty sure upon death, the realization of what all this was and what it all meant will just be revealed to me like in the snap of a finger. It'll just come rushing over me like a wave of knowledge. And Rose is saying that I missed the super chat. Yeah, I'm getting a bit rambling. I'm rambling on and on too much. So let me try and knock out these super chats that I may have missed. All right. Jack P. Nimble with a super chat said, hello, Sir Jake. I appreciate you shooting from the hip about what the world reality actually is. The gateway process is one of those declassified docs, but full of gems, talks about the hologram. So this is just based on what I've experienced here, all the crazy, weird coincidences and things that have happened to me personally, and then all the stuff that I've seen online and all of the stories that I've broken down and stuff, and what's being presented to the public as reality and what the common person believes is going on, you know? And so I weigh all this, and I have come to this conclusion that this realm we're in is not organic. It's not natural. There's some sort of super computerized element. There's something computerized about this realm. The way that the sun rises and sets like clockwork year after year after year after year after year after year, like a mechanical mechanism of sorts, right? And it does something almost supernatural and mechanical at the same time, year after year after year. So yeah, I've come to the conclusion that it can't be what they told us it is. So I throw out the mainstream science explanation for what this place is, and then the religious outlook from all the different man-made religions. I reject all those as well. So this is all based off what I have experienced here in this realm, living in this particular flesh bag suit called Jake. All right. ZFam says, you're a smart dude. Keep bringing the heat. I'm so smart that I would advise you to use the proper form of your, which is the one with the apostrophe. So you are is the one with the apostrophe. You do your with the apostrophe is literally like saying you are. So anytime you're going to say you are a smart dude, that's when you'd use the your with the apostrophe. Whereas your, Y-O-U-R, that implies ownership. Like pick up your laundry. That is your car. Right? This is your show. See? Your. See, I'm so smart. I know the difference. And so I was sent here by the creator of this hyper-realistic video game to teach you the proper use of your and your right here, right now. So hopefully you took this time to learn the difference. And if you did, you're going to be a more intelligent person, and you're going to have more intelligent and meaningful conversations from this point forward. Sincerely, the internet's biggest grammar Nazi, Jake the Awake. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. Curtis Nelson says, do Jungly Surfer. Jungly Surfer? I don't know about Jungly Surfer, but I do know a little something about Jungle Boogie. Whittler, whittler, Jungle Boogie. Whittler, whittler, Jungle Boogie. Whittler, whittler. Huh? Jungle Boogie? Jungle Surfer? Kind of, sort of similar. Huh? Come on. It's close enough. Jungle Surfer, Jungle Boogie. Doxological Thinker with a super chat says, I missed the first part, so I'll watch the replay, but I wanted to mention the news is so boring lately. I saw the MSM was covering the same senator's flatulence yesterday. Keep up the good work, Jake. Dude, it's been like that for the entire World Cup. So the whole summer has just been boring as all hell. Like, so I've been struggling to find like juicy psyops to break down. So the most popular thing to talk about is like Conor McGregor's scripted injury. And like earlier, I played the video of like the grandpa getting gored by the buffalo just because there's a lack of news going on. So yeah, the last several live streams, I've had to scrape the bottom of the barrel for shit to talk about. But I think I've done a pretty good job at keeping you guys entertained, even though the scripted news right now is extremely slow. So that just goes to show you guys how awesome of a host I am, how great of an entertainer I am, that even when the news is super slow and there's no major scripted psyops going on right now, I can still come up with topics to break down. I can still talk for 2-3 hours, keep people laughing, keep people entertained. That's the difference between me and the shills out there. All right. And thank you very much, Doxological Thinker, longtime supporter of the channel. And Kurt with a donation says, we live in a realm, can't go up or down on north, south, east, or west without run out of oxygen or provisions. We live in a realm. Yeah, I believe this is some sort of a realm. I don't believe that you can go up and then pop out into magic floaty land. So I don't personally believe in outer space that mainstream science explains that you can leave the Earth's atmosphere and then be in a zero gravity outer space atmosphere, infinite void. So I don't believe in the concept of outer space. So I don't believe that you can go up high enough and then at some point magically start floating. So yeah, I call outer space magic floaty land. And I'm the only guy I know that calls it that and makes fun of outer space and how that has coined it magic floaty land. So if you think about it, the only people who are allowed to go to magic floaty land are astronauts. And who are astronauts? Government employees, government agents, and then a select number of celebrities who get chosen to go to space and float around for a couple minutes, like Katy Perry, right? Or William Shatner, for instance. So a select few celebrities will be chosen to go along with the government agents, go along with the government's rocket ships, the government's transportation, which takes them to magic floaty land. So no regular person gets to go experience magic floaty land. So I would argue, how do you even know magic floaty land even exists if you can't ever go and you haven't ever been? You would have to trust the government agents who lie and claim that they've been to magic floaty land. And I already know that they're liars because they already lied about the moon landing. They already lied about the space station. So if I've already, to my satisfaction, proven that they're lying about the moon landing and other space missions, then of course I'm not going to believe that William Shatner or Katy Perry is going to space either, or any celebrity for that reason. So the whole concept of outer space, I refer to it as magic floaty land. You ain't never been to magic floaty land. I've never been to magic floaty land. And the people who've claimed to have been to magic floaty land, I don't trust them lying sons of bitches at all. So for that reason, anyone talking about magic floaty land being real is full of shit and completely untrustworthy in my book. All right. Curtis with another donation says, "Oh my God, Jungle Surfer. Sheesh, I have glasses on now." I don't know what Jungle Surfer is, bro. Who's Jungle Surfer? I have to type it in and see who you're talking about. Are you talking about a YouTube channel? So I typed in Jungle Surfer into Google, and then this YouTube channel popped up. Is this what you're talking about? Jungle Surfer TV? Looks like it might be a flat earther channel. I'm not sure if this is what you're pulling up or what, bro, or if this is what you're talking about. But if it is, shout outs to this channel. By way of Kurt Nelson's super chats.
Now it's about time we really nailed this moon thing once and for damn good. So there'll never be any argument again.
All right. So it sounds like this is like a truther channel of sorts, flat earther guy. I don't recognize the name, so I can't say as I've ever seen these videos, but looks like he covers some of the same subjects that I've talked about. Katy Perry going to space. So I'll have to check it out. Flat Earth versus Globe. All right, I'll check it out. Right after my stream ends later tonight, I'll go back and check out this guy's channel. Thanks, Kurt. All right. LaFleur Network says the search for truth continues. Don't let confirmation bias box you in. Please thumbs up, hype, share, comment, subscribe, click the bell. Hey, I appreciate that, Davey D from the LaFleur Network. And make sure to check out Davey D's channel as well. He's also been uploading a bunch of different content about a bunch of different subjects. So check out his channel if you get some time as well. And thank you, Davey D, for the super chat. Longtime supporter and mod here at the Jake the Awake channel from the LaFleur Network. Thank you, buddy. And yes, if you haven't, please take this time to hit the thumbs up. It would be greatly appreciated. Got a super chat from Evan. He says, Jake, I am part of the elite. We have a good giggle watching you. We love how you try to dissect our scripted events. We allow you to exist purely for our entertainment. Funny but futile. We also love that Land on the Moon jingle. You know, I think this is actually what's taking place. I think that the elites allow me to do what I'm doing because they know I'm so damn funny and entertaining, and there's no one else like me doing what I'm doing. So I think they let me do what I'm doing, and they steal some of my bits and use it for script writing some of the planned news events in the future. So they study me and they use me as an example for what one of the smartest slaves in the video game does and says and thinks. Right? So I think I'm like a study subject, and I think that they do get a kick out of me. And so I think that, and the fact that you guys support the channel and the channel is profitable, I think for all those reasons, that's why they allow me to stick around and keep doing what I'm doing. And I also show my face. You know, I don't hide my identity. I don't make a secret about who I am, right? So I think if I would have tried to hide my face and my name all these years, they would have probably taken me out. But since I'm upfront and open about all this, and I'm ballsy enough to do this week after week, stream after stream, I think that they just let me get away with it because they don't fear that I'm going to be able to start a revolution on my own with this small audience. So, yeah, I think they just sit back and laugh and enjoy the show, just like you guys. And possibly Evan's just kidding, and he's just joking, and he's not really part of the elite. But maybe he is. Maybe this is truth in plain sight, that Evan is one of the wealthiest, most elite and powerful entities in the world. And here he is watching yours truly, the smartest, funniest debt wage slave on YouTube. Doxological Thinker with a donation says, what are your thoughts on the Canada fires? In Minnesota, the air is really bad. I have a hard time believing it's just smoke, but I don't know what else it would be. So fires happen every year somewhere in the country or in Canada. So here in California, where I live, like it's every summer, it's expected that there's going to be some sort of fire or fires. And so I've seen where, you know, whole sections of forests go up and get burnt down. And then I've seen where entire towns supposedly catch wildfire and burn down. So I've seen examples of some very fishy fires taking down like whole neighborhoods and whole buildings and stuff, like all the way down to ash. Yeah. And then meanwhile, there's other houses that are completely untouched, right? Almost like they were told not to touch that specific house or neighborhood. Yeah. So, yeah, I've seen a whole bunch of fishy stuff when it comes to the fires. And then I remember like last year before, there were people talking about a smell of burning plastic in the air. So I want to say it was people in the Midwest last year, maybe the year before, were complaining about a burning plastic smell. And then, yeah, living in California and the fires here every summer, the air will oftentimes in late summer get filled with smoke. So there's times in late August where the air is filled with smoke here and the sun is like orange and you can stare at it like all day and it won't even hurt your eyes. So like midday sun will be like behind this plume of smoke, and it'll just be dark orange, and it'll look very surreal and strange, and it won't hurt your eyes at all. And there'll be this vivid, eerie, orange, dark glow all day long. Yep. Kind of common where I live. Happens almost every year. So yeah, fires happen naturally, of course, and unnaturally as well. So I can't say for sure in your area whether it was natural circumstances or not. No way for me to know for sure. But yeah, they have definitely used fire to take down certain neighborhoods and areas, what seems strategically. And they call it wildfire. And then when you see that the homes are and the buildings are completely taken down to ash, and it makes you think that they possibly use other forms of technology like the direct energy weapons and whatnot. That's always a popular conspiracy belief that whenever one of these wildfires burns down a whole town, and then you see the homes that are completely decimated down to ash, that's when talk of the direct energy weapons starts to heat up. So I can't say for sure, when they use the direct energy weapons and what neighborhoods they did or didn't use the weapons. So yeah, I think there's a number of different ways they can use fire to their advantage to get rid of neighborhoods that they don't want there anymore, or get rid of people in certain houses that they don't want there anymore. Anyway, that's the long-winded answer to that. And Curtis with a donation, very generous donation, says, "Have a good night, brava. Modesto is hot. I lived in Clear Lake, but back in Ohio growing weed. Stay flat. Remember Lacey Peterson." So yeah, man, right now, most of the places around the country in the United States are going to be pretty hot. So where I live, it was 100 degrees today, and it's supposed to be 100 tomorrow. So I'm looking to actually get out of town, maybe take a couple night mini vacation in my van. I'm thinking of heading over to the coast where it's a lot cooler. So one good thing about living in California is that I can take a drive over to the coast, and the temperature is much cooler over on the coast than it is where I live. So in the valley, in the middle of California, it'll be blazing ass hot, 100 degrees tomorrow. But if I get in my car and I drive over to the coast, it'll be 75. So there can be like a 20 to 30 degree drop. And there's other places it can be like 30 to 40 degree drop. Like if I drive to Monterey, it might be like 65, partially cloudy. So yeah, tomorrow, if I was to start here in my car, it'll be like an oven, hot as hell, 100 degrees. And then in 2 hours, I can be in Monterey, and it'll be 65 degrees. And then when the sun goes down, it'll be in the low 50s, and I'll have to put on a sweatshirt. I'll have to put on a hoodie and pants. So yeah, that's the crazy thing about California, how if you're able to drive to one of these microclimates like Monterey or Pacifica, Santa Cruz, man, the weather's so much cooler and nicer. It's friggin' perfect. Whereas where I live, it's hot as hell, and it sucks. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting out of this terrible heat tomorrow and going somewhere nice like the beach. So I'm trying to figure out tomorrow which beach I want to go to, because I haven't been to the beach since spring. So yeah, the beach is calling my name. And Cheddar Bomb with a donation said, "Been watching you since you had subs in the thousands. You are almost at 100K, bro. How will you celebrate? Aloha." Well, it might take me years to get to 100K. So the only time the channel grows consistently is during football season. So when I make the top 10 most rigged plays of the week during football season, that's when I consistently will get subscribers coming in. And then when the football season ends, then people start unsubscribing. And if I talk about random conspiracies or politics being scripted, or if I say anything negative about Trump, a lot of times I lose subscribers. So I don't know if it's YouTube unsubscribing people without their permission, or if it's the football fans who just don't like my other content. I lose subs when it's not football season a lot of times. And so if I put out a video that does decent, it seems like if I put out any sort of video talking negatively about Trump, that I just lose subs. Or if I do a stream where I do a bunch of impressions and goof around, I'll lose subs. So yeah, it's kind of like I don't know how fast it's gonna take me, or I don't know how long it's gonna take me to get to 100K. So if it takes me like another 2 years, slowly limping along, you know, and then I finally get there, like, what's the point of celebrating? It's just a number, right? So it doesn't really mean anything. Like, what's the difference between 90K and 100K or 110K, right? So what really matters is people supporting the channel and showing up here and getting something out of this, and me enjoying it. And so as long as you guys are enjoying what I'm doing here, and I'm having fun doing it, then I'm going to keep doing it. And I don't need any plaques on the wall. So if I never make it to 100K, oh well. And if it takes me 2, 3 years, 5 years, whatever, and then I finally have a plaque to hang on the wall, nothing's going to change. We're just going to keep doing the same shit anyway. So yeah, it won't really change much one way or the other. But I do appreciate all you guys who've been hanging with me all these years, and all the support and all the subscribers and all the super chats and all the messages tonight. I appreciate all of it. You guys are awesome. One of the best YouTube audiences a guy could possibly have on this here tube. Curtis gifting 5 Jake the Awake memberships. He's gifted several Jake the Awake memberships tonight. So big thank you to Curtis and all of his donations. Let me make sure I didn't miss any super chats before we wrap it up tonight. Canada Fire. Oh. So I missed this super chat way earlier, and so hopefully this guy's still here. Aaron David Spiegel. Every once in a while, some of these super chats will shoot by and I'll miss it and I'll ramble, and then an hour goes by and I'll get a message from Rose and she'll tell me that I missed a super chat. So by the time I go back and dig it up, I'm hoping that the person who sent it is still here. So Aaron, hopefully you're still watching. He says, what do you think about Pimp Unslaved, Paul Unslaved? I think I've only watched a few of his videos. I don't really keep up with the guy, so I don't really have an opinion. And off the top of my head, I can't think of what he's known for. Like, I can't think of his most famous videos. So it's a channel name that I recognize, and I think I have watched it. But honestly, right now, off the top of my head, I can't think of who it is or what he looks like or what he talks about. I don't follow that many channels, you know. A lot of times I'm always looking for stuff to talk about. That's always the battle with my channel. It's like, got to keep coming up with new stuff to talk about. Got to keep finding clips to show so that I can keep making content. So it's always a battle for me to just figure out what to talk about next and keep this up. And keep it going week after week after week, year after year after year. So yeah, sometimes I'll see one of these channels and then years might go by and I haven't watched them for years, and someone will bring up the name and I can't remember who it is or what they talk about. So yeah, I don't remember who he is. So maybe someone here in chat knows more about him. So maybe someone here in chat can tell you about Paul Unslaved. Off the top of my head, I can't remember. And I think I've caught up on all the super chats. If I missed any other super chats, please let me know. All right. And I got one coming in right now from Davey D from the LaFleur Network. He says, thanks for the stream and plug. Also, plug your merch. Yeah, you can get some merch using my links down below. I use a company that does drop shipping from China, so it might take a month or longer for your order to arrive. I don't have a t-shirt printing press, so if you order any of my merch, please give it time to come from China. It will arrive eventually. It just might take a while. So I've actually ordered some of my own merch from the same drop shipping company that you guys would use to order the merch from me. And it took like, I don't know, 2-3 months one time for the shirt to arrive, but it finally came. So yeah, if you do order any of my merch from China, you got to be patient. It will arrive eventually one day. All right. And Curtis is still here, still donating. He says, I think I gave away 15 or 20 memberships. Brother, virtual fist bumps to you, sir, and to any of the lucky recipients. Make sure to thank Curtis if you got one. And Big Money Bob also gave out some memberships earlier. So make sure to thank them if you got one. And that reminds me, I need to crank out some new members-only content. All right. So I think I'm all caught up now on Super Chats. Let me see if there was any videos that I forgot to show you guys before I wrap it up and call it a night. Now, I pretty much showed everything I wanted to show tonight. So, Kelly Yamaguchi says, Super Chat missed Jake. Okay. RY says, you missed my Super Chat. Okay, my bad, buddy. Big Money Bob gifting 5 more Jake the Awake memberships. Oh, I think it was this one right here. To all Jake the Awake fans after the show, Holden, a big supporter, hosts a Jake the Awake after party on his YouTube channel. Consider joining and hanging out. Hold on one second. I got to take a drink. I was having trouble spitting that out. Yes, so every week, Holden, who is a mod here and a huge supporter of the channel, and he shows up for every stream, he does a Jake the Awake after party stream, and he likes to continue the fun over on his channel. And he also talks about the news being scripted, and he'll show some of my old videos and clips from some of my old content, or he'll talk about stuff that I talked about in the stream. So if you guys want to keep the party going, once I wrap things up, every week you can head over to Holden's channel and check out the Jake the Awake after party. Sometimes I show up as well, not all the time, because a lot of times I'm hungry and tired and I need to take my dog out for a walk. So I don't always show up for the Jake the Awake after party show, but sometimes I do. So perhaps I'll pop in over there tonight and say hello. All right. All right. Well, guys, I pretty much talked about what I wanted to talk about tonight, and so I don't reckon I need to keep you here any longer, and so I guess tonight we'll wrap it up maybe a smidge early. Usually I do around what, like 3 hours. So going on what, 2 hours and 20 minutes. So we'll just go ahead and wrap it up tonight, and I won't keep you guys too long. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream tonight. Like I said, it was a bit of a variety show tonight. And I thought it was fun. I enjoyed it. And lots of comments and super chat coming in tonight. So thank you guys for all of the super chat donations that came in. There was a lot of messages that I need to go back and read and watch the replay. So I'm going to watch the replay later tonight, and I'll read all the messages that I wasn't able to read live. So if I didn't read your message live, I will go back and I will read each and every message that was posted here. So I'll see who was here, who said what, and all that. So thank you guys for joining me here for another Wacky Wild Wake 'em Up Wednesday. You guys are awesome as always. The support was off the hook tonight. Let me make sure that nobody's sending any last second super chats. All right. So with that said, thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video or the next live stream. Peace out. Much love. Good night and bye-bye.